A bit of a twist as Kalani Sitake and BYU prepare for 2025. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by for the best in discussion, debate, and analysis. The best because of your feedback, your comments. Please leave those in the comment section down below. Join us Monday through Friday for the College Football Show. There's nothing like it. You can call in, join the chat, talk trash. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Let's get to BYU, a surprising 11-2 team that demolished conference foe Colorado in the Alamo Bowl. Almost made the Big 12 championship game. Lost to Arizona State by 5 points. Otherwise, BYU would have been there. And there is some argument that the Cougars should have made the playoffs because they did finish with the basically same record as SMU, a team they defeated 18-15. And probably at a better schedule, tougher schedule than the Mustangs. All right, it's on to 2025 without starting quarterback Jake Retzlaff. Didn't necessarily set the world on fire. 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. This team was led by defense first and foremost, and we will get to that. But Retzlaff, of course, was set to come back this season, and he was making all sorts of claims about getting to the college football playoff, being a Heisman finalist, and just really tearing it up this year. But Retzlaff violated the honor code at BYU. Think of it what you will, but let's at least respect BYU for adhering to its honor code and not letting football and money get in the way of its honor code and showing the integrity to suspend him for 7 games. So Retzlaff has said, no, not going to put up with a 7-game suspension. I am moving on. And so BYU pumping a ton of money along with Texas Tech, the forerunners in the Big 12 in regards to NIL. In this case, put football to the side and let Retzlaff go. And of course, they pick up one of the best quarterbacks for 2026, Ryder Lyons, but that is in 2026. The quarterback situation for 2025 is a bit sketchy. With McKay Hillstead, 4 starts at Utah State, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. More of the runner, Trayson Bourget, also could factor in. 4 starts at Western Michigan, 4 touchdowns and a pick. The better arm, and then a lot of people think that Bear Bachmeier is the most skilled of the 3. It's a 3-man competition in August, one that Kalani Sitake did not anticipate. The rest of the weapons for BYU are a bit sparse. Running back L.J. Martin carried for 518 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. Sion Moa is a converted linebacker who put up 76 yards in his best game against Kansas last season. You got Utah tight end. He's converted. He's switched sides to enemy lines, has crossed enemy lines in the Holy War. Carson Ryan, Utah starting tight end, now playing for BYU. Wide receiver Chase Roberts has been a BYU fixture now for 3 seasons, 52 catches, 4 touchdowns last year. The Cougars lost their 3 best offensive linemen. They bring back 3 guys who were part-time starters, including left guard Waylon Lapu-Aho, who has 25 career starts. This unit only brings back 61 career starts, including Michigan transfer portal addition Andrew Gentry with 2 career starts along the offensive front. When us old-timers think BYU, we think passing game, not defense, but the Cougars won 11 games based on a defense last year. Top 20 efforts in both scoring defense and total defense under defensive coordinator Jay Hill. They were able to accomplish this despite only putting up 20 sacks last year, and actually that was almost double from the previous season of 11. Keanu Tanavasa comes in as a starter at Utah. So once again, BYU gets a guy to cross over in the Holy War, and Tanavasu with 19 starts at Utah. And also a ton of inexperience up front along the defensive front, including a Texas transfer that comes in, really where BYU shined last season and also this season coming up. Those linebackers, Jack Kelly, 51 stops, 14 quarterback hurries. Isaiah Glasker, 70 stops, 7 TFLs, and 3 picks. We'd like to credit our friend Phil Steele for much of the information that we gather as we check out various sites and publications. And according to Phil Steele's pass defense rating, this BYU group, the number 1 rated pass defense in college football, 13 touchdowns given up, 22 interceptions. That tied Texas for the best in college football, but they lose both cornerbacks and probably their best safety. They've got 5 different cornerbacks vying for playing time, including Maury Bamba, who started 6 games last year at 23 tackles. And then you've got a bunch of other guys that had reps last season, so they're not completely inexperienced, but didn't log the big-time playing time. And then you got safety Tanner Wall, 53 tackles and 3 interceptions. At place kicker, if it comes down to a kick, BYU in pretty good shape with Will Farron, who hit on 24 of 27. I miss those old BYU independent schedules when they would play such a odd smattering of teams across the nation. Typically, they would play some really top-notch teams across the nation in September, especially from the Pac-12. And then once everyone went into conference play, it was difficult for BYU to find an opponent. So they would go all the way from playing top 5 and 10 teams in the country to playing the likes of like Utah A&M and a lot of schools I'd never heard of. Wagner was an opponent here in recent years. But now that they're in the Big 12, obviously the schedule has become uniform. And it's an easy non-conference schedule. No SMU this year, replaced by lowly Stanford, who is coming off 3 consecutive 3-9 seasons. And with this easy non-conference schedule that you see right there, consider with the quarterback situation, this helps ease a young player, inexperienced QB, into conference play. No Kansas State on the schedule, but otherwise BYU hits most of the difficult games, or what we anticipate to be the difficult games in the Big 12. You never know with this conference. And especially this stretch of Utah at Iowa State, at Texas Tech, and then TCU is a 4-game stretch there in October and November. Add it all up following 10-2 in the regular season in 2024, and Jake Retzlaff coming back at quarterback, and I had BYU at 9-3. Now we got Retzlaff gone, replaced by an inexperienced starter, regardless of who wins the job. And guess what? I've got BYU, now that I've reviewed it, considering the defense, considering this team did not rely on offense, considering that Retzlaff was a marginal 20 TD, 12 interception quarterback last year, that one of these 3 quarterbacks, they got 3 of them, so one of them should be able to step up. And they've got a non-conference slate that eases them into conference play. No change. 9-3, 6-3 in the Big 12, my prediction for BYU. Remember, just prior to week 0, we're going to get together, live stream here at the Voice of College Football that we do better than anyone, of course, based on your contributions. We get together, we go through the entire schedule, starting with week 0, and we just pick them off. That's a win, that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win, that's a loss for every team in the country. And we go through it top to bottom right here at the Voice of College Football. And again, Monday through Friday right here, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Give me a call.